It took some time for Sam Rinzel to become the player he's now. He had the tools in his draft here, but really needed to figure out how to maximize their potential. But now, after a season in the USHL and 2 in the NCAA, he looks like a dominant defenseman. He performed very well at the end of the season with the Hawks and seems on track to become one of their best defensemen.
Rinzel down the right side, gains the line, such a smooth skater. Sam Rinzel cuts across, plays it in front, rebound, Kurgan, they score!
In this video, we're going to look at one of his NHL games to better understand what makes him such a great prospect. Rinzel's first shift here may be his worst. He faces some of the challenges of playing for the Hawks, with coverage confusion and players overlapping each other. The puck goes to the wall, he closes on the battle, and so does everyone else. The weak side remains open, and there's a 2-on-1 the other way. Then Rinzel misses his breakout pass, hitting a skate and creating another great scoring chance for Pittsburgh. Rinzel also misses the breakout pass here. He tried to be a little too deceptive and didn't see that his lane was blocked. Things are going to improve quickly, however. The pace of play is much greater at the NHL level than in the NCAA, but Rinzel has the skating and overall ability to push the offense still. Here, he finds a safe route for the puck on the breakout, and then he activates to give an option on the rush. He catches the puck and relays it to a teammate. And we see his vision at the end of the shift.
Dewar comes down low for Shea. Spins away from Lucas Reichel. Kevin Hayes, former first-round pick of these Hawks. Lots of links between the Penguins and Chicago that maybe don't appear quickly on the...
Again, there's a bit of confusion of a line change here to start this shift, and Rinzel is going to lose his one-on-one battle a few seconds later. It's normal for him to still be adjusting to gaps and battles at the NHL level. He developed his physicality in the NCAA, but he will have to get even better at using his skating and frame to close on opponents and pucks fast and seal them from the opposition completely. But his offensive confidence is starting to resurface in this game. Here, he uses the threat of the pass to deceive the defender, carries the puck up, kicks it wide, and goes to the net as an option for a return pass and a deflection. That's the kind of plays he could make more often than most at the NHL level. Here, Rinzel's talents are in full display. With backcheck support, he presents a good gap in the neutral zone. Then he manages to find a breakout with Crosby on his back. He scans both ways, uses his frame to shield the puck, rims the puck, finds it back, and activates.
Loose puck bounces free to Connor Bedard, 1 point away from 60 in his second NHL season. Rinzel hands it off to Mikheyev.
The backhand pass here was not evident. He had a teammate on the wall, but if he made that play, it would either have been cut or it may have slowed down the offense. Rinzel read the backcheck and made a play counter to it by delaying and spotting the gap on the other side and behind the opponents. Then he took a one-timer position. Not only did he display his skating and skill in the last shift, but also signs of higher-level hockey sense. Rinzel was always an activator. He loved to carry the puck up the ice in his draft here, but the rest of his game was a work in progress. He needed to develop better defensive and physical engagement, better defensive details, and improve his overall offensive game, beyond carrying the puck. Daniel G., one of our scouts, was a big fan of his. The tools were all there, and the potential too, but Rinzel was a massive project. He improved slowly at first, and we weren't sure if he'd ever reach his potential, but then his development accelerated in the NCAA, especially on the defensive side. The most important element that Rinzel will have to continue to develop is his aggressiveness in the defensive zone. Here, he uses his stick and body to disrupt the play, but he's not applying that much force on opponents yet, not as much as he could be. When it comes to defending the net, however, he becomes a bit more aggressive.
Throws it in front, it's loose there. Penguins jam at it.
His awareness and ability to handle pressure were some of his biggest improvements over the past 2 seasons. Here, he gaps up to Crosby in the neutral zone, then continues to keep track of him as the play moves across the ice. And on the next rush, his gap isn't as strong, but that's partly because he's facing a 2-on-1 off a drop pass. Rinzel could have been lower on his skates in a more ready position, but he's still denying space with his stick. Then, he gives an option on the breakout, sees pressure, spins, and bumps the puck off the boards perfectly around the forechecker to his teammate across the ice. These are the kind of simple, smooth plays he will have to make a lot on breakouts in the NHL. Here's another good shift. The play drops deep in the offensive zone. Rinzel follows. His downward movement enables him to keep a strong gap with his opponent, barely giving space as the opposition attacks. He could have maybe been more aggressive on the loose puck, but he preferred to contain opponents and stay between them and his net. He sticks to his check and then engages, stick first and pushing opponents to the outside. He sees a loose puck, jumps on it with his skating, breaks the play with his reach, and instantly finds a passing option. Then he helps repair his partner's mistake.
Hawks get it out to the neutral zone. Alex Vlasic, turnover. Hayes trying to split the defense, but he couldn't catch up with the puck. Crashes into the net. He's back to his feet. This has been a black and blue road trip for Kevin Hayes. Took the stick in the mouth in St. Louis.
He activates with the rush, gives an option, attempts a slot pass, and then repositions across the ice as a one-timer option again. The offensive instincts are there in Rinzel's game. And the shift is not over. He makes a great play. He freezes a defender with an inside-outside move, attracts multiple opponents, and uses his range to slip the puck under the defender's stick as soon as he declares it. That's a high-end play. Rinzel is not like those top offensive defensemen who can frequently break defenses on their own with deception and skating. He can do it some of the time, but what he does every shift is attack gaps in coverage and participate in his teammates' plays. He should only become more dangerous as the Hawks' offense improves and they start creating and finishing on more plays. And what's so great about Rinzel is that he has a pretty large safety net on the offense. Even if he overextends or overhandles, he can catch back up to opponents with a few strides and his stick. But he will have to learn to manage the puck better. It's one thing to get stripped off of it, but passing it right to the opposition almost always leads to a great scoring chance the other way. So while Rinzel has great potential, his development is still not finished. Far from it. There are some moments of good hockey sense where he spots opportunities and uses his tools to his advantage, and there are moments where you still question his decision-making and processing of the play. We're starting to see some lists where he now ranks as the best Hawks prospect. His NHL performances really made an impression. His potential seems about equivalent to Artyom Levshunov at the moment, but on the other hand, Levshunov had similar highs and lows in his NHL performances too. I broke those down in a video on this channel a few months ago. Levshunov is younger. Rinzel has had 2 extra seasons of development. That matters a lot. Rinzel was a lot further behind Levshunov at 19 years old, and his 19-year-old season was not where he made the most progress. It came after as he matured. So while he may move past Levshunov in the depth chart, Rinzel's development is also an indication of what could happen with Levshunov over the next seasons. That's why we decided to keep Levshunov ahead on our last top 100 affiliated prospects list for now. But Rinzel also jumped way up on that list. The link to that list is in the description below. Here's another great defensive shift from Rinzel to end the video. The puck goes to the back wall, and he faces a 3-on-1 situation at the net. He positions well, cuts the likely passing lane, and then partially blocks the net drive. Then he sticks to his opponent in front, watches the play, and moves to block a cross-ice pass, before creating the breakout. He picks up an assist on the play.
Hawks to him. Crosby's pass broken up by Rinzel. Connor Bedard, lead pass. Here comes Mikheyev around Timmins. Scores!
It's possible that Rinzel will need time in the AHL next season, but it's more likely that he will win a role with the Hawks in training camp. He performed well enough in these NHL games to keep his spot in the lineup, and he already has the tools needed to play and thrive in the league. He will commit his share of mistakes for sure, but should make even more good plays. In Rinzel, the Hawks almost surely have a top 4 defenseman, and if he can become even more physical and refine his reads, he may rise to a top pairing role in the future and become a pillar of the team.
Can't get it out. Good play by Rinzel to keep it onside.
Yeah, great read, not bailing out on that line right there. Good instincts.
Reichel sweeps it around. Maroon waiting for it. Gets it back to Rinzel. Little spin move. Feeds it over. There's a shot by Kaiser wide. Rebound jammed in front. Another chance. Blocked. Rinzel. Big save by Melka. What a chance for Rinzel. His second of the game. Now it's another chance. Rinzel again. Stopped by Pavelka. He came across.
So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. You can also check out the news section of Elite Prospects, where we release our top 100 affiliated list, and soon our breakdown of the Hawks prospect pool.